A calm journey through American history. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to settle into stillness. Tonight, we will take a gentle journey through the long, unfolding story of America. This is not a story of battles or conflict, but of landscapes, people, and quiet moments across time. A history told softly, like the turning of pages in an old, treasured book. So close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let us drift back to the very beginning. Before, time, the land before. People. Long before America was called America, long before cities or farms, the land stretched wide and open. Mountains rose tall in the west, with snowy peaks touching the clouds. Forests covered the east, thick with towering trees, their roots drinking from rivers that shimmered in the sunlight. The plains rolled endlessly, covered in tall grasses that swayed in the wind, home to herds of bison that moved like dark rivers across the land. This was a world of stillness and balance, a vast, untouched canvas. The first peoples. Then came the first peoples. For thousands of years, Native American nations lived with the land, honoring its rivers, mountains, and skies. In the southwest, the Pueblo people built villages of stone and adobe, their homes glowing red beneath the desert sun. In the northeast, the Haudenosaunee, or Iroquois, formed a great confederacy, planting corn, beans, and squash, the three sisters, nurtured with care. Along the great rivers, canoes glided silently, carrying people, goods, and stories from one village to the next. The land was not empty, it was alive with voices, cultures, and traditions that stretched back further than any written record could tell. These nations lived in harmony with the rhythms of nature, passing wisdom from one generation to the next, leaving their footprints on the land and their stories in the stars. The first explorers. Then came the explorers sailing across the vast Atlantic Ocean. The ocean was endless and blue, its waves rising and falling like the breath of the earth itself. For weeks they sailed, their ships creaking, their sails filled with the restless wind. When they reached the shores of the New World, they stepped onto sandy beaches and rocky coasts, marveling at forests so thick they seemed without end. The first colonies began as fragile outposts: Jamestown in Virginia, Plymouth in Massachusetts. Small wooden homes were built, fires lit, fields planted. The people who came struggled, yet they endured, slowly, patiently, planting the seeds of what would become a new nation. The growing colonies. As years passed, towns grew into cities and villages became bustling ports. In Boston, the cobbled streets rang with footsteps as merchants and sailors went about their daily work. In Philadelphia, printing presses clicked and clattered, producing newspapers, pamphlets, and ideas that spread far and wide. The colonies became a blend of peoples and cultures, farmers, blacksmiths, teachers, dreamers, all carving out lives in the vast landscape of America. Children played in village squares, church bells rang on Sundays, and the rhythm of life moved forward calmly, steadily, like the ticking of a clock. The birth of a nation. In time, a new idea began to take root, the idea that this land, this people, might stand as something new. In the summer of 1776, in a hall in Philadelphia, men gathered to write words that would shape the future. By candlelight, they dipped quills into ink and signed the Declaration of Independence. Outside, the air was hot, the sound of carriages rattled on cobblestones, and bells rang from steeples, marking the birth of a new nation. It was not an easy path, but the dream of America was now alive, and nothing would ever be the same. The young republic. In the years that followed, the United States began to grow. Farmers rose early to work the fields, plowing the earth beneath wide, open skies. Merchants filled their shops with cloth, books and tools. Teachers gathered children in one-room schools, their voices carrying softly over wooden desks. In the cities, streets buzzed with wagons and horses. In the countryside, the nights were filled with quiet, the glow of lanterns in farmhouse windows and the sound of crickets singing in the fields. The new nation was fragile, yet it was alive with energy, with possibility, with hope. Expansion and change. As years turned to decades, America expanded westward. Pioneers packed their wagons, filling them with food, blankets, and dreams. They followed trails across mountains and rivers, through endless plains beneath skies of blue. Railroads were built, iron tracks stretching like ribbons of steel across the land. The steam engines roared and hissed, yet in their wake came new towns, new connections, new stories. The country was changing, but in its fields, towns and forests, the quiet rhythm of daily life continued. Families gathering at dinner tables, neighbors greeting one another on porches, children laughing in the summer air. A nation endures. Through times of struggle, through storms and hardships, the spirit of America endured. Factories rose in cities, their chimneys sending smoke into the skies. Immigrants arrived by the thousands, carrying hopes and traditions from faraway lands. On farms, the seasons still guided life. Spring planting, summer growth, autumn harvest, winter rest. And always, the rivers continued to flow, the forests to grow, the stars to shine above. The nation was changing, yet at its heart remained the simple, steady rhythm of its people, working, building, dreaming. Closing reflection. Now, as we return from our journey through time, we see that American history is not only the story of leaders or battles, but of millions of quiet lives lived each day. It is the story of rivers and forests, of towns and cities, of families and children, of dreams whispered beneath endless skies. And just as the river flows and the stars shine each night, the story continues still. So rest now, knowing that you are part of a great unfolding story. The story of America, the story of us all. Good night.